wild card weekend is done. We're on the divisional round, but that wasn't in my notes, but now it's back because I just copy and pasted into this week, but the picks are not going to be the same. Let's dive into it because you clicked on this because you want to understand what's happening. Now you're probably wondering, oh, he has a fantastic thumbnail that I spend way too much time on. That is embarrassing to admit, but how well did he do last weekend? Well, I think I went 1-6. It was bad, but if I aim for 55%, it would flip in this NFL Divisional Round. Let's kick it off. Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos, Saturday, January 17th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's what we're running out of. The best sports time zone, Central Time. Let's not forget that. So we have the Buffalo Bills beating the Jaguars last week. They now play the Broncos, who are coming off a bye week. And this is a revenge game. We saw Buffalo blow out Denver in the playoffs last year, 31-7. And now Denver's a different team. They went 14-3 this year. They're the number 1 seed. So let's see how that progresses. Right now, the line is a bit telling. It bounced around from 1.5 to the other side, 1.5. Has not touched 2 on either side. That would be extreme value. 44% of the bets and 44% of the money right now is on Broncos minus 1.5. So Denver, last week, they had a first-round bye. Nothing really to chat about there. You sat there. Bo Nix probably ate some goldfish. He strikes me as a guy that has a very nice snack cabinet. And it would have a lot of the fun snacks. He would be that, way too in-shape teenager, but then also has tasty cakes and ho-hos and goldfish just laying around his house. And he's definitely the house that's like, whoa, this is some cool snacks. I was not that house. Great house I lived in, but it was not the snack house. Just too healthy. Too healthy. Last week, Buffalo defeated Jacksonville 27-24. Kind of felt like they almost left it all out there. When we're going to dive into these games, we're going to chat about the visitors first. So Buffalo Bills, look, it's the Josh Allen effect. Josh Allen in the playoffs. Every single aspect about the Bills was better. About the Jaguars was better than the Bills. Sure, maybe James Cook is better than ETN, but not by an insanely wide margin, especially the 2 ways these teams have been playing this year. Josh Allen, 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he's banged up. We saw him go out of the game. We saw him go in the concussion tent, a lot of bad stuff. Depleted arsenal. You have that. Is that even a word? Arsenal? Arsenal. That's what I want to do. But that sounds too soccery, so I want to avoid that. Now, Gabe Davis, gone. Shavers, tore his ACL last week. So who are you going to throw to? I guess you have Shakir, you have your tight ends, and Cookie. Brandon Cooks is, I guess, going to also be pretty good. I don't know. Buffalo is 1-0 ATS this postseason, so they covered the short dogs last week. Let's see what happens. When you're playing the Denver Broncos, though, in Mile High, it's a different atmosphere. This Denver defense led the NFL in 68 sacks this season, only allowing 18.3 points per game. Now, Broncos won 11 one-possession games. Kind of makes you feel like the Vikings of last year, where it's like, oh, you have a really good quarterback, really good coach, but you keep getting bailed out. They were down 33-0 to the New York Giants. Sad, bad, which I don't know how that's going to handle in the playoffs. Now, they do have a rest advantage. Sean Payton, very good coach. All I hear is about how much of a great offensive-minded coach Sean Payton is. Maybe I'm just too young to truly experience Drew Brees era, although I did run a lot of forwards on the Wii for NFL Madden 2008 with Drew Brees. So basically, I have the same attitude and the same brain that Kevin Petula has, because God, why did they still had him on as a coach? But it's fine, they fired him. Go Birds. And let's try to get back on track here. Howie Roseman downplayed AJ Brown talk and called the wide receiver a great player. That's good to know. Here's the thing. They have a rest advantage. When you give Sean Payton prep in time, he's 8-1 at home this season. Now, the regression trap is going to be something in there. Road teams coming off shout out Evan Abrams, a low turnover game in Buffalo faced a +2 turnover margin team, Denver. They're only 34% straight up. That's 111 in 2004. Bad. Explosive play regression. Denver's 10-1 when allowing 5 or fewer explosive plays. Buffalo's offense relies heavily on Allen's ability to get 20 yards. We saw it last week where he dropped back, no one's open, he just threw it up there. Thankfully, Brandon Cooks was there and caught it, but that necessarily wasn't guaranteed. Now, here's the thing. Similar to the Rams-Panthers game, Denver's path is going to be through their rush defense, number 2. So they're going to try to force Buffalo on long third downs. However, we saw Buffalo get balled up. They knew that James Cook and Josh Allen, that leg duo, was going to do it. And the Jaguars, I don't know if they have the number 1 ranked rush defense. I know it's at least in the top 5. They haven't allowed any rush to go above 75 yards this season. They held that, but Buffalo still found a way to score. And what I thought was interesting about that Buffalo game is they didn't wait to the second half. So they're obviously going to be the public darling in this game. How do you not? It's Josh Allen, it's Haley Steinfeld, it's Bo Nix, and whoever. Remember when Zach Wilson first entered the league and there was all that talk about, him and someone's mom? What a time to be alive. Now, Denver's pass rush, 68 sacks, is going to be a nightmare matchup for Buffalo's offense because I do believe they're going to be able to stop the run. Now, that game was very close when they played against Jacksonville. Can it flip? My prediction is going to be Denver Broncos on the money line. Sorry, Josh Allen, it might come to an end, but keep in mind, this is mostly fueled by the fact that I have a future on the Bills to win it all plus 900. So, keep that in mind. If you can get at either team plus 2, if there can be a live line at plus 3, take it either side. Hope this is a field goal game. I think that's the play there. I know the smart play is to do Denver Broncos, but my God, do I want to do the Bills. But look, we're going Broncos here, people. 49ers versus Seahawks. Baby, it's revenge time. Saturday, January 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Now, it's a primetime NFC West matchup. A lot of people have their theories. Whoever's going to win the NFC West, the representative from that division, is going to win the entire Super Bowl. Now, we have the number 1 seed Seattle Seahawks taking on the who cares 49ers because honestly, who cares? Now that Kittle's out, drink a whole bottle of tequila, by the way. Now, I'm sure maybe some of the other players had some shots. Either way, that is sick. So shout out George Kittle for that one. That one rocks. These two teams literally played for the division title 14 days ago, and it was just a whopping by the Seattle Seahawks defense. The 49ers cannot get anything going, and that was with Kittle. There's only so much CMC can do. 49ers, however, though, great coach. They're looking for revenge. Seattle's looking to prove, hey, week 18, no fluky. Time to go ahead and attack. Now, last week, Seattle, they got the rest. Similar to what we're seeing now, they both got the rest. They rested up. And Sam Darnold's a guy who just has a bowl of cashews. And he just gets his hands in with the cashews and eats them. That's what Sam Darnold did in the past weekend. San Francisco, however, they went to Philadelphia, absolutely stunned the Eagles, which I thought the Eagles were going to destroy. However, Kevin Patullo doesn't know how to call a game. However, this whole Eagles team was broken before the season even started. Well, okay, the season started and they were broken. Let's just be honest. But it was massive. I don't know how they did it. Trick plays, whatever they needed to get it done. Shout out Brock Purdy. Right now, the line is 7, and the total is 44.5. 75% of the bets on the 49ers, and 60% of the money on the 49ers. I am shocked. I get it. There's a lot of trends, and the Niners played, and maybe the public's thinking, oh, Darnold's going to stick in the playoffs. We'll get into it. I have no clue how the public's not dumping on this Seattle team right now. Whatever. But we mentioned, right, news broke, ACL tear, Kittle out. Tequila in, Kittle out. Which is sad because although I do hate the 49ers, and my hatred for the 49ers has grown. I was actually a fan of them. I kind of like the 49ers, but I think as the Eagles-49ers rivalry is growing, my hate is for them as well. Because I don't want people from San Francisco trying to tell me, oh, I like football, and then they go just scooter to their tech company. No. In Eagles country, we get up and we go to Wawa, we have a black cup of coffee, and we go, hey, Deb, behind the counter. She goes, pack of cigs, and go, Deb, I don't smoke. And then I pay, and I get out of the Wawa, and someone always holds the door for me. That's what it's like being an Eagles fan. That's the difference. Anyway, San Francisco, they had impressive 8-2 on the road this year. They are just really, really good when they play away. And who do they play? Not really anyone, right? But Purdy was only sacked once last week. He did throw 2 interceptions. Brenyon Mitchell, a fantastic cornerback. But this Seattle defense is just as good as the Eagles, if not better. So he only scored 3 points last time, which makes me a little bit scared if I was a 49ers fan. On the other side, McDonald, he had an absolute masterclass. Mike McDonald turned this into the league's number 1 defensive unit in DVOA, and now they specifically rank top 2 in both the rush and play action. 2 pillars of Kyle Shanahan's offense. So that's bad. Now, tallest factor. This is Seattle's first home playoff game, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, man, got the 12th man. That's going to be huge. I guess it was more back in the day, or this team is just so good that when they go play on the road, they play on the road. So I don't even know if it's that much of a disadvantage or if this team's just really good. It's kind of like when you're eating a piece of cheese when you're abroad and you go, is this just because I'm in international waters that I enjoy this piece of cheese, or is this piece of cheese actually quaint? Could it fit on a cracker? Is it what I'm all about? I don't know. Now, Darnold, he did finish the season with 4,048 yards, 25 touchdowns. He doesn't need to be a hero. We've seen him mess up so many times in these games, which is what a lot of people think, oh, but Sam Darnold, he sucked. He sucked at the playoff. Okay, buddy, let's try to watch you throw Nerf football. Anyway, he just needs to toss at JSN. Just play mistake-free football and let your defense win you the game. And also, why do you keep running on third and 17 with Kenneth Walker? But then also, why does it work when you run it on 3rd and 17? So shout out to them. It's the 13-3 blueprint. So what's the 13-3 blueprint? Is that like a Jay-Z album I don't know about? No. Seattle held San Francisco to 173 passing yards, or total yards. My bad. Lowest in the Kyle Shanahan era. And now it's Shanahan proof because they take away the middle of the field, which we all know. How did this San Francisco team beat the Rams? Slants. How did they beat the Eagles? Slants. I mean, DeMarcus Robinson, slant, 61 yard. It's really, if you take that away, you're going to run it through the outside. Now, Kittle's great on the inside as well, but who do they really have on the outside that can step up? Trent Williams is going to be holding people. Now, I don't think they're going to be, I think they're actually going to call these holds unlike last game. I don't know why last game they weren't calling the holds. I'm not being a crazy Eagles fan. He was holding on every single play. The third quarter dominance is going to be a big aspect. So Seattle's tied for number one in third quarter scoring at 7.1 points. So you know that this team's going to come out. They're going to get the ball. They're going to get a touchdown, or they're going to get moving in the second half because their second half adjustments are elite. And we've noticed this a lot more on the offense than this defensive unit. Defensive unit, studs. Offensive unit, I mean, they're also all studs, let's be honest, our NFL team. But it goes up and down. Now, there is a historical home edge. 10 straight playoff games with fans in the building, which is insane for Seattle. So the loss of George Kittle, to me, that's huge. You can't oversee that, not only from a mental aspect, because I know he brings the team a lot of juice, but he's also the just sole engine of the 49ers offense. Not as much as Christian McCaffrey, let's not get crazy here, but if you take away Christian McCaffrey because you're the number one rush defense, who else are you going to pass it to, right? I guess you have Ricky, you have Juwan Jennings. I don't know. Juwan Jennings, I heard not good guy. So the public is hammering this 49ers spread. They're the gritty affiliate, but smart money. You have the 67% of bets. Also on the Seattle money line, which is just interesting movement. So I know that beating a team 3 times is hard. However, I don't believe this is the same team they're playing. There's tons of injuries, so I truly believe that Seattle's going to be fresh at home. And Shanahan can only do so much. At some point, the players are the players, and the 49ers left it all at the field out there. I predict the Seattle Seahawks to win by 8 or more. So I'm taking them -7. Houston, Texas, New England Patriots. Sunday, January 18th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Foxborough, we have the new guard, the new Tom Brady's in. Drake May, which I kind of like Drake May. They are the number 5 seed, taking on the number 2 seed of the Patriots. The Texans are the 5. Clash identities, right? Houston's massive 10-game winning streak, including the regular season. However, you have Drake May, who's an MVP candidate on the other side. However, a rookie to the playoffs, but he won his first game. There's essentially a debate over, okay, you're going to be building out the hard work the Texans Houston have done. They built up their team versus, all of a sudden you have Drake May and Vrabel, and now you're good again. Now you're good. Christian Gonzalez, that's going to be a big factor in this game. I don't know if he's playing, but if he's not playing, that's just going to tell you what side I'm going on. Now, it feels like a big moment, right? If the Patriots win this, oh my God, they're going to the conference championship, and it's going to be big. We're talking like DVD big. Whether they win next year or 2 years, they're definitely going to get one there in New England. I mean, last week they destroyed the Chargers 16-3. Not that much of a destruction, but trust me, they destroyed them. Because this Chargers offense couldn't get anything, so much pass rush. How much pass protection did Justin Herbert have? None. Kind of like when you walk outside in the wintertime without a hat, and you're like, oh man, it's cold, and your ears have no protection. It's that type of sad. Houston, though, absolutely dominated Pittsburgh on the road. These 2 games have the same type of vibe, right? Both these scrappier teams that have a better defense. Well, okay, let's be honest. Steelers don't have a better defense, but they have that weird voodoo, so let's just count it like that. Against, things can happen. Maybe it'll flip the other way, and the home team, whatever. No. The better team won in both these instances. Texans won 36. They returned to 7-6 nail-biter and just blew it out of proportion. 23 points in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh was holding on for dear life and lost it all. Right now, Patriots are -3. Total is 41. 57% of the bets on New England. 3% of the money back in them. Pretty interesting. Houston Texans, got that part. Houston Texans defense has been absolutely historical. They generated -33.4 EPA last week, which is the lowest in the playoff in a decade. Sure, you're playing in the corpse of whatever that Pittsburgh Steelers offense was, But in the end of the day, this Texans defense just came to play. And it's kind of like they're the equivalent of the bigger kids on the playground when you're just playing by yourself because you don't really have any friends that much. And sometimes it's a little bit tough. So you lie to yourself that you're getting good at basketball. So you play on the hoop alone and they come over and they just absolutely dominate the game. That's what this Texans defensive line is. They just dominate. Now, Stroud, he had an awful game. You could say he was dropping the ball. Like they were just hiking it. He was looking this way, smacked him right in the face, had to go get to the left. It wasn't his best showing. And everyone's like, oh, Stroud sucks. I think Stroud had, 4 to 6 fumbles in his entire career, and he had 2 that game. So I'll keep riding with my guy, Stroud. 250-plus passing yards. That's what he did last week. Expect him to do that again. 3,041 and 19 touchdowns this season. But the offense, let's be honest, can be very hit or miss. They do turn over the ball a lot. Plus 17. And what this team does is they turn over the ball, and then they capitalize on it. One thing, turn the ball over. A whole another thing to capitalize it. It might have sounded like I said a bad word there, but my speech impediment is getting to me. New England on the other side, they've been studs all year. Drake May finished the regular season with 4,394 passing yards, fourth in the NFL, 31 touchdowns. He's an engine that makes his third-ranked offense hum. Now, they're so efficient. 71.9% pass completion. So when Drake May's throwing it 4 out of 5 times, he's pretty much hitting someone 7 out of 10 times, right? That makes a lot more sense. 7 out of 10 times he's basically hitting someone. So they're just being able to scheme up this offense. Now, they've been playing against horrible defenses. Let's not talk about that. Kind of like how we don't talk about the Monopoly incident from 2015. The Patriots are 24-5 all time at home in the playoffs, but also like Tom Brady skews those numbers, so I didn't want to talk about that. Now, it's the best for the best, right? So you have the Houston Texans' number 1 ranked total defense against New England's 3rd ranked offense. I get the slight edge to the defense there just because they're strong. A defensive masterclass like Houston's last week, where it's a minus 28 plus EPA, they actually tend to lose their next game by an average of 9 points. So the defensive high is often just followed by, hey, yeah, maybe you just want to play an actual offense. And Drake May is a perfect 11-0 straight up this season, 9-2 ATS as a favorite of 3 or more points. So when he's expected to win, he doesn't just win, the kid covers. Now, Houston Texans 10-game win streak. Okay, that's been incredible. But New England is a massive step up for this offense to play. They haven't played an offense like it all year, and we saw them get stalled out. Drake May, though, he can avoid the negative play. And that's what we've been seeing him do all year. He's been able to neutralize Houston's pass rush, and he can move them chains. So, here's the question. The public is leaning towards the Texans in the under. But I'm going to say, frankly, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and rock with the Patriots minus 3 or better. If this gets to 3.5, it might just be a no play for me. I might sprinkle a little bit on the under. But in the end of the day, look, people, it's going to be a close game. It might be a field goal. Who do I trust more? Probably Drake May. That's my pick now. Do I have the right to change this? Yes, because I'm not so confident about this one. Los Angeles Rams versus Chicago Bears, Sunday, January 18th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. What network is it on? I don't know. I pay $1,000 for YouTube TV a month, so it's just whatever it is. Now, this divisional round takes us to Soldier Field again. Love it. Between the Rams and the Bears, main event of the weekend, Sean McVay versus Ben Johnson going head-to-head. Now, everyone listens to Part of My Take. Who doesn't love Part of My Take? Shout out Part of My Take. They did a little bit of a deep dive about how there's a clickies in the NFL. You got some clicks going on. You have the Shanahan coaching tree click. You have the McVay coaching tree click. And Ben Johnson was neither, and he has a little something to him. That's why he gives those fast handshakes, leaves. Because he is full of hatred. And I know it's wrong. It should be full of love. There should be butterflies. But football isn't a game of love. It's a game of hatred. And just getting out there and just want to rip someone's head off. How many downs of football have I played in my life? Again, 0, but I did play in Alex's Lemonade flag football contest where I scored a touchdown. Now, it's going to be interesting to see these guys go head-to-head. Because it is like, hey, Ben Johnson is the newest, hottest coach out there. McVay's still not old, but he's still like one of the best regarded coaches. Let's see. McVay's age, 39, and Ben Johnson is also 39. So they're the same age. Wow. Last week, Chicago pulled off a legendary comeback, winning 31-27 after being down 21-3 at halftime. They trailed 18 points. Caleb took over. Los Angeles Rams survived 34-31 in a shootout against the Panthers. Matt Stafford, incredible game-winning touchdown. You had a feeling they're going to win the whole time, but too close for comfort. Right now, the Rams are 3.5-point favorites. Totals at 49.5. 35% of the money on the Rams, 35% 35% of the tickets and 35% of the money on the Rams. Interesting. So what stands out to me? Matthew Stafford's finger, and that's how I think this whole game plays down to. So he's playing through a sprained index finger on his throwing hand, which, hey, he feels great. He won't wear a glove. If he doesn't feel as great, he's going to probably wear a glove. That's going to be a big factor in the Chicago wind. So it really depends on how windy the game is, what the weather conditions are like. That's going to give me a little bit of pause. What else do you have going for you that's positive? Well, you still have Puka Nacua and you still have Devontae Adams, right? They're a nightmare for any secondary. Puka Nacua dropped a wide open pass last game, which just doesn't happen. Their defense, it's not the best. While they're number one in offensive scoring, their defense is allowing 31 points to just a Panthers offense last week that couldn't even get the run game going. So that gives you pause because they are just prone to these big chunk plays, and you just have to be able to convert in the red zone. Now, Caleb, fourth quarter, stud, legendary on the Chicago Bears, threw for 361 yards last week, and this offense just truly never gives up, and everyone's bought end. And you have Colson Loveland, who's been the X factor. Luther Burden's been great. DJ Moore's been great. Everyone would say, but you also have Colson Loveland, 10th overall pick, has become the Bears version of Sam Laporta and has just been destroying offenses. 137 yards against Green Bay as well. So the Bears, they're getting healthy at the right time. Braxton Jones, CJ Gardner-Johnson, which I'm like, whatever, both expect to be back, having the unit be stronger than what anyone's faced in the regular season. Now, if the Rams close as favorites, it will be the first time in 54 years we have two road favorites in the divisional round. Historically, road favorites in the divisional round are just 14 and 22 ATS. Soldier Field. I can say it right. I'm a big boy. I never used to get the actual correct color of crayons when I was a kid. I used to only get the off-brand ones. That's just a sad story of my life. Okay, so it's going to be single-digit wind chills, 30-mile-per-hour gusts, which we know what that means. Under. So we're going to be probably betting the under. We'll wait until kickoff. If it is 30 miles per hour wind gusts, we're taking the under on this one. I don't care how explosive these offenses are. You just got to blindly bet that one. So, look, this rushing attack is led by DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, and now this Rams team, sure, they got great ones, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, whatever. They're a dome team. They're from Southern California, and they're just softer. Red zone efficiency. So this is what we saw, right? We saw that the Panthers were able to move the ball, but sometimes they couldn't punch it in the end zone. So Chicago 6-1 when holding opponents under a 55% red zone touchdown rate. The Ram number one offense, if they show even just a little bit, they let one go against the Colts, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So I think we're seeing everyone back the Bears. I think that everyone's in love with the Bears. Everyone's like, oh, the Rams are a little bit washed. The Super Bowl odds beg to differ. They prefer that they do see the Rams winning the Super Bowl ahead of the Chicago Bears team. However, Matt Stafford's injury with the cold weather does not keep me confident. So first off, we're going to go under in this game. That's going to be my main play. However, there are some plus fours out there. Chicago's undefeated 9-0 when forcing at least one fumble this season. You're telling me with the hand of Matt Stafford being a little bit messed up, they're not going to get a little bit fumble action there? I predict the Chicago Bears to keep within 4 here. So under and 4. If either of those numbers don't really hold up, look, I don't know, pay attention to Short From Vertical. I'm going to post on Effective Clips. Go ahead, follow that. People, if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. I appreciate it a ton.